Hello, hello. This is Robin, the Artsy Bohemian. I'm here in my studio in Los Angeles, and I am going to show you this nifty little envelope booklet that I came up with. I don't know if somebody else has done this before, but it's probably true that somebody has done it before, but I was just kind of playing around with some envelopes and putting some of the transfers, trying to figure out what I could do with the transfers that I had done in the previous tutorial from last Tuesday, and I really like the way it came out. So I'm going to show you how to make this envelope booklet that you can actually stick inside of a journal. This is the one that I've been working on, and we've been doing each page with, you know, lots of different elements. And this is the cascading envelope one that we had done. Seems that was a real big hit. Everybody liked that one. So just going to keep working on this file folder insert that will eventually become part of a junk journal. And the envelope booklet that I'm making today will be part of this as well. So the transfers that I had done, I had told you I was going to show you some things that you could do with them, and that's what I did. What I did was I just tore out, so like these right here, I tore these out of the music paper that I had transferred them onto. These two little images. And then what I did was I just sewed a little bit of, pieces of fabric that I had onto one here. I kind of folded over the paper, and I added a rusty safety pin. And then on this one, I just did a little batch of pieces of leftover paper and music paper, and I just sewed that on. So they make these nice little collages that you can then add on to whatever you want to work on. So before I add these, I'm going to show you what I'm adding them to, which is the little envelope booklet. So what you're going to need, and I did this with 3 different types of envelopes so that you can get an idea of that you can actually probably use any type of envelope. I didn't try the junk mail envelopes because I didn't have enough of the same in size, but if you wanted to save some junk mail, you could probably use the envelopes from your junk mail too. So what it is, and this is just the bare bones, it's going to look like this. And I came up with this way to put it together that to me is very easy and simple. So I'm hoping that it'll be easy and simple for you as well. So all you're going to do, and also I wanted to make it look grungy, so I'm going to show you how I made this look grungy. So what you're going to need are some envelopes. You can use 2 envelopes, you can use 4, I haven't done 6, but try 6, and let me know how it goes. So what you're going to do is, and I'm just going to take this apart because it's easy to put back together. So you're going to take 2 envelopes. And one of the envelopes, the very first one, you're going to put the flap inside like this. I'm going to put that inside like that. And then you're going to insert the flap on the other envelope like that. So that in itself is really cool, and I know there's people that do this and make cute little booklets. So you have a pocket here to add things to, and then you have pockets here like this. I thought these would be cool to add, to put your Tim Holtz die cuts in if you want to. Okay, so now if you want to make it 4 pages, I'm going to set this aside. You're going to do the same thing with another set. Only this one, you're going to make sure that the flap on the left goes inside the envelope on the right. And you're going to be gluing these in at some point. I'm going to show you this again. So the flap on the left goes inside the envelope on the right. So that means you have a flap on this side. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take this first one that you just did. Since there's that slit right there, you're going to slide that right in there, and voila, you have this nifty little booklet. So I'm going to go, I already gessoed it, and I'll gesso this side so you can see what I do. I've showed this before. It wasn't my idea. G-Care does this, and it's just taking gesso, white gesso, and just doing a dry brush, which is not exactly what I just did, but you're just going to take your paintbrush and just rub just a little bit of paint on here. That's how you get that fresco effect. Most of this is going to be covered up anyway because I'm going to be adding something to the top, and then you could rubber stamp on it. You could put napkins on there if you wanted to, and just decorate it. So I already did all of these here. Oops, not that one. I'm gonna have to do that one. But what I'm gonna do is this one's gonna be the top one, and it's ready to go. I'm gonna show you how I did this. I really like the way it came out. Let me show you one more time with the other envelope. So some of you may remember these envelopes from Target. They were in the dollar section last summer. So I bought a bunch of them, and I still have a lot. So I'm going to be making little booklets, which is what this one is here. And I'll go ahead and I'll just show it to you with this one. So I did the same technique making this look grungy. And it's the same idea like I just showed you here. So there's the envelope, the one that goes on the top, the front page or the front cover. You're going to take the flap and stick it inside. And I decorated these just a little bit. Then you're going to take the right envelope and put the flap inside the left envelope. So you have your one little booklet, and you could keep it like that if you wanted to. It's so neat because you have pockets here, and then you have this pocket here. So you're going to do the same thing. We're going to set this to the side for this one. And just remember that now these are upside down because this is the way I have to put it. But with a regular envelope, you won't see any writing on it, obviously. So the left flap goes inside the right envelope, like that. You can tell these are getting a little wonky. And then that leaves you with this flap here. You're going to close this one and stick the flap inside. And there you go. You have 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can decorate it, which is what I did, which I'm going to do with this little collage that I have. So let's start. I'm going to do the grungy surface texture on here now and show you how I did that. So let's see, maybe I'll do it on one of these because I didn't. No, I'm just going to do it on a new one. So the same thing, you're going to need an envelope. You can use any envelope you want, and some pattern paper, just from a pattern. I like the color of it, and I like the some of the text on here, and some matte medium. You can use Liquitex brand if you want to, or Golden. This is Nova, but it's not very easily, you can't really find it very easily. So here's an envelope. And I'm going to, let's see, which way does this go? You have to make sure that the pockets, that the flap goes to the left, is on the left hand side, if you're going to be using it for this project. So I'm going to take some gesso and some of the pattern paper. Let's see. And I'm just going to loosely tear it. Actually, I'm going to add some water to make it tear easier. This is just a paintbrush I had in my water jar. And I'm going to squinch it up. This one's a different color, it looks like. I think I like this one better. Yeah, this one's really yellow. I don't like that. I have to just kind of piece this together here. Some of it's going to be covered, so it should be okay. And then take some lace or a piece of trim. This one has a little bit of depth, so it's not real thin. And that's what I used. I like the way it came out on this one better. These are two different methods, but it gives it this neat effect once you lay down the pattern paper with the matte medium, let it dry, and then you're going to go back over it and dry brush the white gesso, and then that's it. So let me go ahead and put some matte medium on here. And I made it a little bit bigger on this so you could get that nice wrinkled effect, but this one isn't as big, so it probably will look a little bit different. And first what you have to do is you have to glue this down. So I'm just going to hot glue it a little bit. And just put some of the medium on here, the matte medium. And put it over the trim. Might try Mod Podge. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it should work. I just like using this because it's a matte. It's not glossy. Even the matte Mod Podge is kind of glossy. Okay, I'm going to lay this down here, and I'm going to have to put some on here like this. And kind of squish it on there, I'm going to go back with the brush and kind of make sure that this gets into all of the ridges on the trim here. And that's looking good, like that. And then I'm just going to put more on top. So I'm going to let that dry and really take your paintbrush and squish the paper onto the trim. I'm going to add a little bit more here because it's a little bit short. Doesn't take too long to dry. So while that's drying, I wanted to show you also another little thing I made with some of the transfers that I had done. And this would make a nice addition to a junk journal page. It's a very simple collage. This was the Eiffel Tower tag that I had transferred the image onto the tag. And these are just literally scraps of paper that were on my table. This is a tea bag, a scrap that was on my table. That was on my table. Then I just added it, and a little bit of lace. And before I glued down this piece, I just rubber stamped some, I think it's like a beehive stamp on there, and add a little bit of cheesecloth, glued everything down, and then I just sewed this right here so that it makes a tuck spot. So it would make a nice addition to, just add to a page in your junk journal. And this was a mistake off camera when I was practicing with the transfers. I tried to transfer an image onto an old book page and it didn't work at all. So I just kept it and I just added, more stuff on top, and it makes it look kind of cool. I think, anyway. I like it. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these little pages together. Just going to use a glue stick. It's a little easier and it should stick pretty good. And I did do a hole punch, a half hole punch on this, but this paper, for whatever reason, my hole punch didn't work so well on it, so I just didn't do it to all of them. Oops, did I glue that down? I have to wait on that. To glue that in first. The glue's drying so fast that it's hard to stick in there. To do this over again. I'll be right back. So I worked out the booklet here, and I realized that by gluing some of the flaps, you are actually cutting off some pockets, but it still works out really cool. You just have to be careful when you're gluing it down, making sure you know what pockets are going to be open and which ones are not. And I'll show you again when I glue the bigger one. So now this is dry, and I'm going to just do, mostly dry, some more dry brushing on here, and it's going to just, all the wrinkles are going to pick up the gesso. Do some on this too. And if you are doing this technique with the trim, you just want to do a real light coat, because on this one I saturated it, and so I had to go back over it with some antique, distress ink or something. Still looks good. It's just a different look. So the trick is not loading your brush with too much paint, and then you'll get this neat effect here. And you just want to try to get as much paint out of the brush so that you get, it just picks up all the wrinkles on the paper here. Okay, so that's done, and that looks more like this one that I did here on the smaller one. And like I said, after I had dry brushed it, I just took some ink and rubbed it on this, and it picked up. So that makes it look even grungier. So it just depends on what look you want. All right, so now I am going to add this to the top here, like this, because my thought was I would add, let's see, what did I do with it? Another little booklet. Yeah, it was this one right here on top, and then put my collage with the transfer on top of that, like this. So I'd have two booklets. So there's one here, and then we have the one that, the 4-page one that's going to be opening out. Might be able to add all of them. Let's see. So it'd give me more. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that might work. And so this is the part I was saying, the gluing part. When you glue the flaps in, one side isn't going to be open and one side will be open. So you have to decide when you're gluing this what you want to have open. So I am going to just take some of this. I'm not going to put a ton of glue on here. I'm just going to kind of, actually, what's this? So it's the same process. You're still going to put it together the same way, but when you glue them down, like I said, you have to see what flap is going to stick down. So I'm going to just do this here. So yeah, go ahead and put it together, and then when you glue it, you're just going to take one out at a time and then glue it down. This is really sticky glue. Oh, this one got really stuck in there. There we go. That one's going to go in there. I know it looks confusing, but if you just do those two things that I showed you in the beginning, where you just put both of the envelopes together, and then once you have it together, you just take them out at one at a time. And I'm not putting a lot of glue because this glue is really sticky and it almost dries really quickly too, so quick that I don't have a chance to put it in there right. Okay, so I think those are all stuck in there. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I like that. And then this one actually has the pocket on the side. This one didn't work out that way. I had to glue the back on inside this pocket. It might just be because of the way that these open here. But like I said, it still looks really neat, and you're still going to get this really cool effect where you have a booklet. So now I might just stress this a little bit more. All of these I'm going to add more decorations too. I just wanted to show you the base. And maybe I'll do a little dry brushing on this one. I might stick some paper in there so you don't see that flap. Not sure I'm going to glue this down. I like the way it looks, but I might figure out some way to make a binding here so that it will open up and not stick to the page. But I hope you like that. I think it's kind of a fun technique. I'm actually going to glue that down. And you know, you can use your scraps. You can use cardboard scraps, because this is literally all that is. You can well, this one I think has the backing on it. You can tell it was from a package. A little bit of sewing, a little tiny bit of fabric scraps, and some gesso, and you know, if you're doing the transfers like I showed you in the last video. And by the way, Susie, who's so cute, from Creative Cafe Girl, I think that's her tag, she came up with an even better transfer method. So I'll leave a link down below and you can see what she did. You do have to have something called onion paper, I think, or onion skin paper, which is really thin paper. I'm always leery about putting, printing different weights of paper in my printer. And so I didn't do it, but it's really cool because it's super quick. And there's no rubbing involved. You know how we rubbed the excess off? You don't need to do that with this paper that she uses. And I believe she sells it, or she might have it in her store. So if I were to add this little booklet in here, I mean, it would be great on its own, right? So if I put some pages in here, I could add a flap to one of the pages so it's inserted like this, and then I can bind it. Isn't that cute? I like that. And so this opens up. You can decorate it. You can put, you know, your Tim Holtz or, you know, digital images. My Porch Prints has those really cool fussy cut flowers. So here's a stack of Tim Holtz digitals that you can stick in your little envelopes. And so this is the other side of the flap, and here's some pages that you can write in, journal in. So it's kind of fun. We'll just keep working on this particular project, however it comes out. I'm not sure. We're just kind of doing this together. And before I let you go, I wanted to show you a new project I'm going to be, or I'm actually asking to see if you're interested in this. It's not a junk journal project, but it's something that you could probably use. Some of the skills that you would learn in this class you could use for junk journals. I'm calling it my Slow Stitch Snippet Necklace, and it's literally just snippets of fabric that have been hand stitched onto a little pouch, and with beading and little tiny bits of you know, fibers and vintage buttons and all kinds of fun stuff. And so it opens here, and it really is a little pouch. So I'll have to sew that down with the flap. And then there's just a hobo type necklace that I just took parts of other broken pieces and made it into a necklace. It's kind of a long piece, so it's kind of hard to show on this camera, but anyway, let me know in the comments below if this would be something you'd be interested in, and if so, you would want to sign up for my online school newsletter. It's not really a newsletter, it's just like an email list, and I will probably be launching this by the end of March sometime. There will probably be kits. They're going to be a little bit, all of them are going to be a little different because this is a very eclectic necklace, and it has all kinds of, you know, one-of-a-kind things on it, but they're pretty cool. There's going to be some neat things in the kit. I don't know the prices yet. I have to put them together and see if I can source things at a fairly good price, and then I should be letting you know in the next, I don't know, week or two when it's going to be launching. I usually, whenever I do launch a new class, I make it a really irresistible deal by giving you lots of bonuses. I usually do a giveaway for a class. One of the classes are a giveaway. So yeah, just sign up for my email list, and I will see you next Tuesday for Tuesday tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.